Hey!
Okay.
Holy cow. Welcome back to the Combo Couch, everyone. Pasta Jardula here.
And I'm Fiorella.
All right, you have to let us know, guys. Is the sound okay? We want to make sure everything's okay. I'm sure they'll pop up in a second. Can you hear us, Mike West, Jesus, Steve Richter? Please let us know. And there it is. Can you hear us? Main thing. Pasta's got a haircut. Can you hear us? Audio is good.
Okay, thank you guys.
Wow, we are good, fam. So we are here. I don't know if you saw this, fam, but I gave us a new name for the show today. Instead of being known as the Combo Couch, we are the Portuguese Couch.
No, fam.
What do you mean, no, fam? It's already done. That's who we are.
No.
We're in Brazil, everybody. With an S for the locals, for the Z, the Portuguese Couch.
Oh, man.
So, fam,
I got it.
let's start talking, guys. Listen, if you have a chance, go to thegivesendgo.com, the Combo Couch Brazil. You guys have been amazing, putting our boots on the ground. We've gotten full credentials. We're actually going to be doing trips into the favelas. We have, with our full credentials, they're going to be laying out the whole electoral system. So we're going to get that. I'm going to do some, I've been calling some of the doctors and stuff. There are a lot of them in Brasilia, but somebody might hook me up with a doctor over here to talk about the ivermectin situation. They didn't have any ivermectin in the pharmacy because they gave it all out in the kits, and they're actually low on it here in Sao Paulo. It's weird. Yeah, it's crazy because it was issued in the kit not too long ago.
Fam, Sao Paulo.
Sao Paulo. So what are your overall thoughts, fam? We've got to see Lula a couple times. We've got to speak to some of the people.
Yeah. So overwhelmingly, Lula is, people know he's kind of, it reminds me of Petro a little bit. Syndicalist, right? Union guy. People know that he's not the most revolutionary, radical, leftist guy there is out there, but he did do a lot of work for people in terms of resources for the working class. He always talks about economics, always talks about the working class, always talks about everything related to that, right? So he's really beloved for that reason. And so we're going to actually talk to people whose lives were changed by Lula. Okay. And when we've interviewed some people that are supportive of Bolsonaro, they see Lula as a criminal. They see Lula as being an opportunist. And interestingly enough, a lot of the cab drivers, I think all of them that we've talked to, have been Bolsonaro supporters. Now, by and large, of course, the Lula supporters didn't question the vaccine, haven't been
They're
at
pro-mandate.
all. A lot of them are pro-mandate. Lula himself was not. From what I saw, as far as that goes, it's very divided here in Latin American countries. But also, I do think that comes from a feeling that countries in Latin America have been left out and they're given the least, and they're not at all like considered in any ways by the West, which is true. They're exploited and all of that. So I think the trust in that came from, oh, these vaccines were given to the wealthier countries, they must be good. I think there's an element of it to that. I obviously think people are weighing the situation with the economics more than they are with the vaccine stuff. So I do think Lula is going to win. I do think it's a lot. There are a lot of Bolsonaro supporters, specifically in Rio, in Brasilia, in areas that are wealthier. The areas that are more indigenous, more poor, as usually is, they go with the more leftist candidate, which is Lula.
Yeah. By the way, just some people saying shout outs. A couple people were saying it's great to see us in the same room again. Fam! I just drive her crazy. Aren't you happy that I'm right here, that my voice is like just penetrating your core?
No.
And this is me tired, you can see, because like you don't get a lot of sleep. We had to get up early today, go to a little event. Fee's been working on editing a bunch of stuff. We got some new thumbnails. We got some interviews. We're gonna put it out there.
Translations
Just to reiterate what the situation. Some people will say Lula's got a connection to the World Economic Forum just because he went. I don't know how close he is with them, but he was for. I don't want to say necessarily for, but he didn't have the decision. But he was for, wearing masks and lockdowns. He definitely wanted to do something, I think. And I think that's where Bolsonaro got himself in trouble. If you're going to be serious about something and you're going to say something doesn't work, you don't say it will turn you into an alligator. Nobody's going to turn you serious. And when we've talked to some people about the ivermectin, and don't get me wrong, it's kind of disappointing when you talk to a lot of people. They're pro-mandate. You talk to them, but don't you think that these big pharmacy companies are criminal? Yeah, but we believe in science. It's almost like the same talking points. And it seems like there's a lot of political moves out there, not necessarily from Lula, but maybe from a lot of his voters to take advantage of the fact that they thought Bolsonaro didn't do anything and allowed people to die. So that's what they're playing. That same thing. We saw a lot of that in the 2020 election. So
but did he do? But the thing is, Bolsonaro didn't help people in terms of economics.
Yeah.
So that isn't like if you don't have people doing stuff, if you don't have a government that's backing people economically, then people are going to have that negative view for everything. And so I think that the COVID probably contributed to back that view as well. You know what? I go back to Brazil will have to decide who they want. And Brazilians, it's up to them. I mean, I know who I would vote for, but I'm not gonna, and I'm not gonna force people to take a certain stance. But I do believe like Brazilians should decide. And I think it is weird. We had our friend Danny Shaw talk about how Steve Bannon was here and a lot of those people.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it's I don't like that because why is there so much influence to have Bolsonaro in there as well? So I think that's really strange that there's that sort of push. I mean, I get the whole vaccine thing, but apart from that,
well, the whole thing is that it's also to a campaign built on emotions, right? Like the message is clear from Lula. He's always been a champion for the poor. He said, I want all Brazilians to be able to have a cup of coffee, 2 sound meals, and a roof over their head. That's what I want. And that message has been clear out the gate. There hasn't been a lot of policy talk behind that, but that's what these campaigns are never run on. They're run on emotions. We see that in the States. It's the same over here. So it's interesting. Once again, I'm not crazy about the whole mandate situation. A lot of people feel that Bolsonaro was a straight capitalist that helped a lot of rich people, but let a lot of poor fall. But we've talked to people that have said, cab drivers and Uber drivers, that they feel that Bolsonaro does care. So we'll see. I don't think it's going to be enough to get him to beat Lula. I think Lula's going to still have the strong, sounding win, but I think it's going to come in the second round. I think because of those third-party candidates that we've been talking about, and Danny's been kind of educating on us on them. Danny Shaw is with us here in Brazil. If you don't know who he is, he's awesome. He was at the inauguration in Nicaragua with Fee and Johnny when me and my mom couldn't go because we had the boops, the COVIDs. So we couldn't go. We had COVID and we couldn't go. That was during the thing, but you guys were there. Nancy, I know what you mean about the farmer strikes and stuff. I really do apologize. There's only 2 of us. We have other shows, other work, other jobs. I'd love to be covering the farmers. We have talked about this, these ESGs. We talked about them a lot on the morning show.
We were supposed to have, what's his name on, and he couldn't make it.
We had a guest in.
He couldn't make it. Jeremy Lafredo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he'll get on there soon. He did come on the morning show. He has been on our show once before. So he'll come back on again. He'll talk about that. But that's just talking about the strikes in the Netherlands and stuff. We just can't go over there. Look, he had the opportunity. If this was a different week, we might have been in friggin' the Donbass over there watching this referendum because it's a vote. It's, election. Yeah. So we might have been there. So I do apologize, but we can't cover everything, Nancy, but we will definitely look more into it. Try to get more guests, and we will be able to report back to you on that.
So, fam, we have a folder, and we don't have a lot of time.
We don't. So let's jump right into it.
Okay. So we have the first link. Is it being slow?
It's like being stupid.
So the referendum, right? I'm going to go over the referendum really quick because it's important. So the referendum passed. Pretty much everywhere. It's not 100% everywhere yet. They're still counting. But the Zaporozhye region, 100% of the ballots were counted, passed with, he'll pull it up, maybe. I don't know if we have it. What is it? The internet isn't working well, huh?
No, it's pissing me off.
We had great internet, I thought.
We did, but these guys doing next work. Just fuck things up for us.
Okay. Let's see. Let me see. All right. I'm gonna start with this tweet. I'm gonna read it to you guys. It if you follow my Twitter, you'll have seen it. So Zaporozhye, yesterday, the Lugansk People's Republic and the Donetsk People's Republic had respectively 83.61% and 86.89%. I think that number has gone up since they began counting. Today, the Zaporozhye region was with 95% of those counted and 89% in Kherson. Those were the exit polls. And then, of course, the Zaporozhye region, just breaking news. With 100% of the ballots processed, 93.11 voted for the entry into the Russian Federation, according to the CEC. I believe that's the Central Election Commission or Council. The Donetsk People's Republic was at 97.91% with 14% counted of the ballots. The Lugansk People's Republic was at 97.82% in favor with 13% counted. Kherson was 96.97% in favor with 14% counted. So those numbers are going to stay the same. I mean, they're going to go up a little bit, but they're going to pass. I mean, this is a done deal here. It's passed. Now, a lot of people come back and say those numbers are impossible. There's no way 90-something% of people agree on anything. That is what we think in the United States, because we don't have fair elections, because we have a very divided, polarized country in the United States. In places where people have been victims of terrorism, of bombing, constantly living 8 years being shelled by Ukrainians. We've talked about this for a long time now. In places like that, where they begged Putin to interfere a long time ago, all of these ethnic Russians, they're ethnically Russian, meaning they might be in Ukraine, technically, but their culture, their language, and everything around what they believe in is Russian. So these ethnic Russians support they've been wanting to be free of Ukraine and to be part of Russia. This was a long time coming. And so I believe those results, and I'm going to show you some videos really quickly from a few others. Did you want to say anything?
No, I mean, I'm really upset that I can't get it up. I mean, we've heard this before, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's so fucking crazy, fam. I'm thinking about TYT, and when Anna and Chen go on about the Syrian elections, this is not even possible, 90%.
Right,
it's like you have to understand the climate of what's going on. When we talked about, like, some people taking this anti-war stance in this particular part of the region, we talked about Medea Benjamin, we talked about Scott Horton. What did Eva Bartlett say? She goes, guess who else didn't want war? The people of the Donbass. They didn't want war. They didn't want to get bombed. So, I mean, the climate there, and like you've talked about, is these are ethnic-speaking Russians. We've been talking about this since we started the Combo
With Mark
Couch.
Sloboda, too.
I mean, we've been talking about this region for quite some time. So I do believe these results to be 100% true. We have a good friend on the ground who was supposed to be here with us. Wyatt Reed was supposed to be here with us. He actually went there instead. But don't worry, fam. He'll catch the second round when we won't be here, like he did in Colombia.
He
guesses right on that shit all the time.
He's like, just follow me and just do what I say, he said.
No.
But yeah, so Wyatt's there, Vanessa's there, Eva's there. I mean, our good friends. When I found out all these people were coming, I'm like, you're coming and I'm leaving. But I hope some of them will be back or stay, because this is we can't be everywhere all at once, right? This is an important election, an important event. Mm-hmm. So another thing is the videos that I wanted to show, but we can probably show some of them tomorrow, because I don't think it's coming up right now.
It's just not.
Yeah, and we do have to go in about 10 minutes. So
I said I can't get it up, and freaking somebody says, "Wow, Pasta, we don't care if you can't get it up." I can't get the video up.
But you did say that,
Wesley.
You did say that.
See? Oh God, Wesley, that's not cool.
Okay, so they're not coming in. in any way, right?
It's not coming up.
Okay, so I have a couple of other things, and I'll just look at right now. Let me see what I wanted to point out here. If you go on my Twitter, I posted several videos of a bunch of international observers saying the elections were fair and free, just like when we go to observe elections. They were able to take pictures. They were able to go into the polling locations, talk to people, interview people. That's what, our friends, Wyatt, go look at his Twitter. He posted a video too of an emotional woman. This is what happens to us when we went to Colombia, when we go here. People are crying like when they really believe in a candidate, when they overwhelmingly want to get rid of a corrupt government. They have been through so much shit, and they literally they cry because they want this whole thing to happen. And so if you go through my Twitter feed, you will see countless evidence of that. You
can hold it up like that if you want.
There's also the ballots too, that the ballot counting was public. It was done in the open. It's a paper ballot, hand marked. Ava Bartlett has pretty much, she shows the writing, and I don't know if you guys will see it, but
let me put that up there so you can see.
No, it's blurry.
I can take the blur off, maybe. Try now.
Still, you guys can see
you can see that,
the ballot. Yeah. Okay. That, yes, and yet. So you can see how it's just a regular ballot. Very simple question. That's it.
Yay or nay, motherfuckers.
And it comes, and the ballot boxes are transparent. They're there. They're monitored. And they're counting them in public. There's no electronic machines. Here in Brazil, it's a DRE, direct recording
electronic device. Yeah. So pretty much it's that, there's no paper trail. When we saw this at first, I thought it was just a ballot marking device, but no, They actually show their ID, and they can show their ID through their phone. I saw somebody use an example. I want to double check on that.
No, they have to put their fingerprint, I thought.
That's if their fingerprint doesn't work, then they have to show an ID, and I believe they can use their phone or something. That's what the guy was showing.
Okay.
So I don't know if he was just doing that as an example. We'll find out this information. We have
tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. So we have that, and then they go behind the screen and they touch some buttons, and boom, they're done. There's no paper thing. Yeah. So we're going to find out what's the system, who makes the machine, if it's open source.
We're told it is open source.
Yeah. So we got to find out.
Even if something's open source, I prefer a paper trail. Yeah. Venezuela has digital, but they have a paper trail. They have reportedly the best election system in the world. That's where I'm going to next, I think. And so I definitely want to look more into that. Nicaragua's system I thought was really well done as well. But I like a paper trail no matter what. Bolsonaro has been questioning the election already, but Bolsonaro didn't question the election when he won and when Lula was put in jail when he wasn't even supposed to be a candidate. Yeah. So a lot of people don't take his questioning seriously. We'll see, how these elections go.
With the conservatives that I know they were talking about, they were pointing out Lula's connections to the WEF, saying that Lula will have the globalist cheat for him. They love to use that word, like he's anti-globalist because Bolsonaro told the WEF to go scratch, you know what I'm saying? And here's the thing, we and Fee were talking about this the other day. I don't know if they necessarily wanted Bolsonaro, but I definitely know for a fact they didn't want Lula, and they threw Lula in jail because they didn't want him to win, for sure. That we know.
Yeah. And if the United States does that, for me, it's kind of like a given, like, okay, well, why were they willing to have Bolsonaro over Lula? I don't think Bolsonaro is like this guy that's going to take on the WEF. I think he's just like Trump in many ways. And I don't even like to use that comparison because I don't like to compare the two political systems because they're different, but Brazil actually has a lot in common with the United States in terms of a lot of the same issues. Housing crisis, neoliberal politics going up the chain, divided people, racial issues of racism and all these things. They have very similar structures. And a lot of people say the US is going to be Brazil if we don't get our shit together. It's a lot of the same issues that are plagued.
So our good friend over here, Joha Garcia, says there is a paper trail, though. At the end of the votation, a total of the votes is printed for each machine. So that's a different type of paper trail. That's not a ballot paper trail where you have an actual trail. That's a trail beginning halfway there.
It's a tally sheet.
It's a tally sheet.
Yeah.
So it's not really so much as a trail. It's a trail starting from the top of the mountain, not from the bottom of the mountain when you have to walk off. So it is a little bit different. You can still...
It's better than nothing. But
it can still be gained.
It's better than nothing, but you want to have a paper trail all along the way to be able to verify, because any of these machines can be hacked. So that's always a possibility. I wish we could show the pictures that we have of Lula and all the stuff we saw. But I'm going to be posting on Twitter, on YouTube. We're going to be posting some interviews and stuff. Pasta did several interviews in English. We did one in Portuguese, sort of. I can sort of get around, but I found a way to get the captions on, so I'm working on that. It's time consuming.
The thing is that we have two people here that can actually translate for us. Our Michaela, our good friend, she's a journalist out here, independent journalist. She's been going with us. We've also been doing some interviews, audio of cab drivers and Uber drivers. So, mostly Bolsonaro. Today, you missed it. Me and Gloria were going. So we're like, Bolsonaro. He's like, no, Lula. And he stops and he gets his phone out. He's like, Lula. It was like the first cab driver, like, okay, somebody likes Lula. But we get to talk to them. We always ask these questions. Why Lula? Why not Bolsonaro? What's a problem issue you got with Lula? What's an issue you got with Bolsonaro? We try to ask those questions. If they're pro-Bolsonaro, we say, well, what's one of your biggest criticisms of him? And they always say the same. It's like Donald Trump. Sometimes I wish this guy would just shut his mouth because he says some stupid things, and it's like, Bolsonaro, shut up. That's so there's so many like just mirror images of what's going on in the States, except Lula is the one guy. We had fucking Biden on the left over there, so there was no comparison there. So it's like, no.
But we do have to get going, I think, fam.
Yes, we do. Do they allow mail-in ballots in Brazil? No, not that we know of, but we will double check everything. Guys, that's it. One more time, I just want to put the banner up. Here it is. GiveSendGo.com, the Combo Couch Brazil. You guys have been amazing. We need you to keep being amazing because we need help. We need to fly out of this place. Fam, if I get stuck in Sao Paulo, oh, well, I'll be here, guys. Come find me. I'll be stuck in Brazil. But help us out, guys. Go to GiveSendGo.com/the Combo Couch Brazil. We're actually going to go meet up with some people to see if we can go into the favelas in the next couple of days. I know fam is like uber excited about that. So we still have a lot more work to be done, and we'll have a lot of stuff posting up. We got some cool-ass thumbnails. I love this thumbnail there, fam. This is my favorite thumbnail because we're back in the same room again. People mention Combo Couch is back. Yes,
Combo
we're
Couch
back.
Has been going the whole time. I've been in Moscow. So.
All right. Last one. Thank you for the stream. Thank you, guys. 200 people over on YouTube. About 50 on the Rock Fins, guys. We love you. We'll see you later. We'll keep reporting.
You got to do.
Live from Sao Paulo, Portuguesa Couch,
Brazil.
Obrigado. Muito obrigado.
That's not the right one, fam.
Whatever.